Could it be? With me, your man, Louie T, here on behalf of the NFC East Super Friends. This video is brought to you by BetUS. Looking for a new book this football season? BetUS is the answer. Fastest payouts in the industry. Also, get 10% back on your net losses up to twice a year. Again, who's doing that? Also, this is a big one. BetUS has upped the ante for our viewers here on the NFC East Super Friends channel. Now, 150% sign-up bonus on up to $2,000 on your first 3 deposits when you use the promo code YouTube150. So, week 2 is in the books in the NFC East and the National Football League. And this video, let me apologize first and foremost, because this video should have been out a little bit sooner this week. I had forgotten how thin the air was up here at the top of the division. So kind of got a little choked up. Took me a little while to get my bearings. I was kind of feeling a little bit better than I thought I was going to be feeling wearing the white this week. And I wasn't expecting to bump into the Cowboys and the Eagles up here in first place. You know, I was just happy to get my little 21-18 dub and get on the board. And I looked to my left, there's the Cowboys. I looked to my right, there are the Eagles. Hey, three's a crowd. What are you guys doing here in first place? This feels good. This feels nice. I can get used to this, by the way. As the only team that won in the division this week, I feel it was only right to be the one to do the around the NFC East this week. Now, let me just say this, and we're going to take a look at some odds brought to you by BetUS here in a second, but this was a great week. Now, wasn't it? As a whole division, this was a great week. The Cowboys, who felt like they were this great defensive team with Mike Zimmer, showed up in week 2 and got humbled with a 35 spot in the first half. Alvin Kamara outscored the Cowboys by himself in the game. They took Derek Carr out of that game in the fourth quarter like it was a preseason contest. Beat those boys up 44-19 like they stole something. Meanwhile, the Eagles choked away an opportunity to win. Now, I will say this. The Eagles should have won that game, and I said this after the game. I don't disagree with the decision to throw the football, and a lot of Eagles fans think they should have just run it, and it's easy to play Monday morning quarterback and second-guess Nick Sirianni. I'll just tell you, I thought it was a good play call because your defense is Denny's. We had this conversation already. And so you sit here and tell me you're running off 40. It still would have been a minute left. It still was going to be a minute left. And you see how they boat raced you down the field anyway. They still were going to get down there and they still were going to score and they still were going to beat you if you kicked the field goal after. You still had how much time left after they scored a touchdown? They could have went faster than they did. They slowed down a little bit because they were going to score too quick. So even if you had run it, kicked the field goal, you still would have lost, more likely than not. But that's nor here nor there. I didn't think it was a bad play call. Saquon Barkley, this is what you're paying him to do. Catch the football. He didn't. I know that made Giants fans smile. Just a little bit. You had to feel good if you're a Giants fan watching Saquon Barkley choke away an opportunity to put a football game away and then ultimately have it. That set off a chain of events. I talked about this on my stream after the game. That Saquon drop set off a chain of events. One, it caused Eagles fans to criticize Nick Sirianni. And maybe you were going to do it anyway because he shouldn't have gone for it on the first fourth down of the game or the first one where you had a scoring opportunity. When he went for it, didn't get it, and passed up an opportunity to kick a field goal. And I'm not going to defend him there. He probably should have taken the points. But he wanted to be aggressive, so be it. But you would have let him slide more likely than not had you won the game 18-15. Right? You might have brought it up, but it wouldn't have been with it's as much vitriol. You wouldn't have been as pissed off about it. But now, with that drop, that enters back into the equation in addition to this conversation whether he should have run the football or thrown it on that third down that could have ended the ball game with the catch. But if you would have run it, more likely than not, you probably wouldn't have gotten the first down. If you didn't get it, you could have gotten to, brotherly shove distance, and then the game would have been over either way. So I understand that side of the argument, but it wouldn't have been an argument at all had the ball just been caught, right? Then you open up the conversation about the defense. Look, the defense was not good, but had you ended the defensive night with the CJ Chauncey Gardner or the Chauncey Gardner Johnson tackle on fourth down, you would have felt a lot better about your defensive performance than how it ended with Kirk Cousins walking down the field and scoring in short order as he went in and ordered from that Denny's menu at the end of the game, right? And then there's, of course, the Jalen Hurts interception, which I really think he had a phenomenal game. He looked like 2022 Jalen Hurts up until the interception. It should have never happened because he should have never have been on the field again for that type of situation. But all of that came to be because Saquon didn't catch the ball. And you could go back and say, well, all of that came to be because your offensive coordinator, Kellen Moore, decided to throw the football. Wherever you want to place the blame, knock yourself out. I'm going to place the blame on Saquon. Catch the damn football. That's what he's paid to do. Catch the damn ball, and none of this is going on. But I digress. I'm glad that he didn't catch the football. I'm glad that this situation is what it is because every defense in this division stinks right now. And when we went into this season, I didn't think we would be in a position where I could look around after 2 weeks of football. I predicted, and somebody corrected me because I didn't think we would be in first place, but someone said, how could you say that you didn't think you would be in first place after 2 weeks? You predicted that Dallas, Philadelphia, and Washington would be 2-0 after the first 2 weeks. And I said, you know what? You're right, because I thought we were going to beat Tampa. But I didn't think that we could be in first place with a loss. Let me say that, because I didn't anticipate Dallas losing to New Orleans. All right. I didn't anticipate the Eagles losing to the Falcons. I thought they would lose to Green Bay. Once they beat Green Bay, they're 2-0, right? So it's interesting to see everybody at 1-1. But what's even more interesting is that this division, and I said this on the Super Friends stream, that 3 years ago, and really up until this year, we couldn't see Dallas and Philadelphia through our windshield, and they couldn't see us through their rearview mirrors. We were nowhere in sight, us or the Giants, right? I don't want to speak for the Giants. I can only speak for my team. The Giants 2 years ago were in the playoffs. So we couldn't see them, and they couldn't see us. And I said the gap has closed considerably between the Eagles and Cowboys and the rest of the division because they felt dominant. Those two teams winning 12, 13 games every year, we could never fathom. Neither one of these teams this year are 12-win teams, okay? And I said that, earlier in the summer, and I've been talking about that all offseason. I said, neither one of these two teams are going to be dominant. Someone's going to win this division with more than likely than not 11 wins. I wouldn't be shocked if somebody won this division with 10 wins. You start talking about 10 wins, now all of a sudden you're entering teams that have no business being in the conversation, and because we can't get to 12. We can't get to 11. I don't even think we can get to 10, if we're being honest. But 10 is not that far from 9, and I think we can get to 9. Anything's possible. And with looking at these defenses in this division, shit, I think there's a chance that things could be a little bit different than what I thought going into this season. Because I didn't expect the Eagles defensively to be this bad. I didn't think they would be great. I didn't think they'd be this bad defensively. I didn't think Dallas would be great on defense. I didn't think they'd be this bad. I didn't think Dallas would be this meh on offense. They got one guy that scares you on offense. CeeDee Lamb. Nobody else scares you at receiver. Their running back position is a joke. This is what all in looks like. This is what it looks like. Defensively, you can't stop the run. Your pass defense is sus. You don't get pressure on the quarterback if it's not Micah Parsons. Who the hell is scared of Dallas right now? Did you see their schedule coming up? Which leads me to my next conversation. Let's go inside the odds. Brought to you by BetUS.
Inside the odds.
Once again, looking for a new book this football season, BetUS has you covered. All right. Fastest payouts in the industry. Get up to 10% back on your net losses twice a year. Biggest kicker, though, 150% sign-up bonus on up to $2,000 on your first 3 deposits when you use the promo code YouTube150. So these are the division odds on BetUS right here for the NFC East. All right. And my methodology is just slap down $100, right? Look, according to BetUS, the Eagles are the odds-on favorite to win this division. I don't disagree with that. I don't. If somebody's to get to 11 wins, it'd be the Eagles because offensively, I think they're the best team in the division. And when they get A.J. Brown back, we've seen how dynamic they can be with Saquon, A.J., Devontae, and all of those guys on that offense with Jalen Hurts playing good football. I think they can outscore teams. Defensively, they're going to make it very interesting because they can't get any pressure on the quarterback, and their run defense is the worst in the division right now. They're giving up over 6 yards a carry. No other team in the division is giving up more than 5. So, or the Giants are giving up more than 5, but they're the worst team in the division stopping the run. And that shit looked gross. I mean, boy, it was really hard to watch. No, it wasn't. It was fun to watch. Bijan Robinson run through that Eagles defense consistently on outside zone, make it look easy, right? But if you're a Commanders fan, I'm just telling you, if you got $100 to spare, why not slap it down on the Commanders plus 1,200? You slap that $100 down right now, you won't miss it. You won't even be thinking about it. And who knows, you might make $1,200 come the end of this season. With the way the defenses look in this division, with the way the Cowboys look on offense, Dak Prescott has 2 touchdowns and 2 interceptions. Have you seen the Cowboys schedule? They have the Ravens this week. Then they play the Giants. They'll probably win that game. And then after they play the Giants, boy, does it get interesting. All right. Their schedule is crazy. It's a first place schedule. So you knew it had a chance to get out of hand. It's nasty, 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 nasty. Okay. Let me give you this Cowboys schedule, right? Coming up here. All right. So the Cowboys have the Ravens this week. Then they play the Giants on Thursday Night Football. After that Giants game, listen to this. At the Steelers on Sunday night. Home for the Lions after that. At the 49ers on Sunday Night Football after that. That's off of a bye week. Falcons at the Falcons after that. Home for the Eagles after that. Home for the Texans after that. Okay. I mean, I don't know how many of those games they're going to be favored in, and I don't know what they're going to look like by the time they get to all of those games. But I'm just telling you, if they look anything like they looked in week 2, because they weren't super impressive offensively in week 1, they were dominant defensively and on special teams. And that's, to me, the only advantage the Eagles or the Cowboys have over all the rest of the teams in the division is they've got the cheat code on special teams. Between Brandon Aubrey and their return man, Kavontae Turpin, they got the cheat code on special teams. But they're not better than the Eagles on offense right now, and I think the Commanders can get better than them on offense before the season's done. Defensively, they may be the best team in the division right now. Maybe. And I only give them the edge because they have the best player in the division on the defensive side of football in Micah Parsons. So We'll see. We'll see. But offensively, they don't scare anybody. The Eagles have the Saints this week on the road and the Bucs the week after that on the road. All I'm saying to you is the Eagles could be 1-3 after this little stretch here. The Cowboys, after the Giants game, who knows what's going to happen to their season? They could either rise or they could fall flat on their face and this thing could implode. Either way, I'm here for it all, right? And then there's my Commanders. Who knows what the hell we're going to be this year? I'm not expecting much at all. I'm still not. But I didn't expect the division to look like this. That's what I'm saying. My expectations for my team haven't changed. My expectations for the rest of the division have changed. I was just looking to try to win 3 games in the division. Just beat everybody one. I'm looking at the rest of this division. Why we can't win 4 games in this bitch? Why we can't win 4 games in this division? Why we can't sweep one of these damn teams? Maybe the Giants. I don't know. Maybe the Cowboys. They don't look too hot to me. The Eagles look like the best team in this division, but not by much. I'm not saying. I'm just saying. Man, it feels good to be in first place. Man, it feels good to be in first place. This is how Cowboys and Eagles fans must feel. I get it. It's after, 2 games. I know y'all going to try to make fun of me. Talk about, oh, man, I already told y'all, don't let me get nice. Y'all think you hearing my mouth now. Wait till we get nice. And I got a quarterback now. We got a quarterback. Shit's about to get real. Jalen Hurts is throwing interceptions. Dak Prescott is throwing interceptions. We know Daniel Jones throws interceptions. My guy hasn't thrown one yet. I know he hasn't thrown a touchdown pass either, but I'd much rather not throw a touchdown pass than throw an interception, if that makes sense. You had a better chance of winning the game by not turning it over than throwing a touchdown pass, but also canceling it out with an interception. Just ask Dak Prescott and Jalen Hurts. They know all about that. Anyway, I digress. Man, it feels good to be in first place. And you know what's crazy is no matter what happens, we have the Bengals on Monday night. We're probably going to get curb stomped, dog walked in that game, more likely than not. All I'm going to do is ask the fellas, don't embarrass me on Monday. Hopefully they oblige. Even if they don't, we might go into Monday night with house money. Because if the Ravens do what I expect them to do, which is get their first win of the season against Dallas in week 3, and if the Saints go marching in against the Eagles and they show up to Denny's and they do what the Falcons did, they'll be 1-2. And no matter what the Giants do, whether they beat Cleveland or they lose, they can't get to first place unless we lose. Either way, we could go into Monday night with the rest of the division being 1-2, or the Giants 0-3 and the rest of the division 1-2. And all we got to do is just go play ball. Whatever happens, happens. We're still in first place. Did not think I would be having this conversation with you guys 2 weeks in, going into week 3, but here we are. This feels nice. I think I can get used to this first place stuff. Maybe I shouldn't. But right now, it's kind of hard for me not to look around at the settings here. Who's in charge of this operation, this NFC East thing? Who's in charge here? Where's the manager? Let me speak to the manager. Right now, the Commanders are one of the managers in the division. Hey, when somebody shows up and says, hey, let me speak to who's in charge here. Let me speak to the manager. Y'all watch out. I got this one. How can I help you? And you know what? Next week, we might still be in charge. You know what would be crazy if we were in charge by ourselves? That could actually happen. A lot has to happen for that to happen. but it could actually happen. Who would have thought? Well, that's going to do it for me, your man Louie T, here around the NFC East. Only one team won this week. That would be the good guys, the Washington Commanders. However, still think the Eagles are the best team in the division. Let me state my case right now. Still think the Eagles are the best team in the division because I think they're going to be able to outscore teams. Now, if they keep making mistakes and Jalen Hurts keeps throwing interceptions, he looked damn good on Monday, though. He looked 2022 MVP Jalen Hurts-like on Monday up until that pick, which is why I said Saquon Barkley opened up a can of worms with that drop because things that shouldn't have happened in that game that didn't need to happen. But I digress. Anyway, I'll see you guys next time. That's going to do it for me, your man Louie T, going around the NFC East. This stream was brought to you by BetUS and want to give them a quick shout out. Want to make sure that thing didn't drop like Saquon Barkley did that football on that third down at the end of that Falcons game. Wanted to give a quick shout out to BetUS for sponsoring this video. Remember, if you're looking for a new book, head over to BetUS.com and use the promo code YouTube150. Y'all get out of here. I'll see you guys next week around the NFC East. I'll be back and maybe I'll be back and still be in charge. Wouldn't that be nice? I'll see you guys next time. Have a good one.